Take me out to California. Take me out to California.
Today on the channel we are talking about motivation. So feeling motivated to do something. There are times in our lives when we definitely do not feel motivated to do something, and currently in the UK we are in lockdown, so there are a lot of people feeling super unmotivated to do anything. One day seems to blend into the next. Doesn't really seem like a point in doing anything sometimes, and so a lot of people are coming to me feeling not very motivated. Now this can happen anytime, so I don't know when you're watching this, when you could be watching this in the future self, and you might just be not feeling particularly motivated to do the things, and that's okay. So today we're going to talk about what kind of reasons there might be for that, and some hacks and tips and tricks that you can try out to see if that will help you. So why might you not be feeling motivated to do the thing? One of the reasons could be a fear of some kind. So a fear of pushing yourself out your comfort zone. Maybe often I work with a lot of female entrepreneurs. They don't want to put their work out, so they're a bit scared of doing that. Judgment, fear of judgment's a big one. Fear of failure, that's another big one. So is the reason that you're not doing the thing, handing in the piece of work, or I don't know, I don't know about fear of the ironing. Maybe I was going to say not motivated to do the ironing, and the fear of I'm not sure what the fear would be there. Fear of having a clean house, and it's not happening, is it? But it could be a fear of something, whatever that is, right? So thinking about what it is that you want to do but you don't feel motivated to do, and is there a fear surrounding that? I did write notes today because I knew I was going to go on a bit of a rampage. I don't know if I was going to rampage, but I was going to go off on one because that's what I do. But if it's a fear, when you're tuning in, if it's a fear, thinking about naming that fear and asking, why am I fearful of this? Where's the fear coming from? Just exploring that a little bit more, and then thinking, what is the chance of this actually happening? Because often our fears are super irrational and just our negative selves talking. So thinking, what is that actually going to happen? Like, okay, and if it does happen, so let's say it's fear of failure, you could fail at something. What really happens? I know it feels scary, but what really happens? If it's a fear of judgment, let's just put out there, you're being judged. Everyone's being judged. We're all being judged for everything that we do, no matter whether we do the thing or we don't do the thing. The sooner we accept that, and the fact that we judge everybody and everything all of the time as well, even if we aim not to, it's human nature to make judgments every day. And so somebody else's judgment of you and what you're doing is completely irrelevant. We'll do another video on that complete subject. Another reason why you might not feel motivated is not feeling aligned with your goals, or not having any goals, right? When you set goals and things for yourself to do, little mini things that you want to do, and you create to-do lists and things like that, if you're not feeling aligned with that, or just maybe you don't really want that thing anymore, so you don't feel motivated to do it. Let's say, for example, you're doing some coursework, you're doing a course, and you just don't really feel motivated to do the work, like hand in that piece of work. And actually when you tune in with yourself, you realize the reason you don't really feel you want to do it is because you don't really want to do the course. I'm not saying that's a reason to quit the course, by the way, but what I'm saying is sometimes you're not aligned anymore with the path that you're on. Oh, my phone's going. You're not aligned with the path that you're on anymore, and it's just worth checking in whether that's the space that you're in. The next one, which is very clearly linked, is lack of clarity on your goals. Are your goals or your next steps a little bit fuzzy? You're not really sure what you do next, in which case it just all feels a bit big and you're unsure, in which case let's start looking at creating some clearer goals, okay? It could be that you have a values conflict. So a values conflict is where you think you want to do one thing and it somehow conflicts with another thing. You're not really sure where they sit together. So I've had this before. So on my channel, I often do a lot of mummy content. I do a lot of chats with my children and share things about my family life. And there was a time that when I first started doing that, I had a values conflict because I wasn't sure as a mom, right, as a parent, you're constantly juggling whether you should do something or not, and the impact of that, and you're second guessing yourself. And I was like, you know, is this the right thing? Having my children on my channel, is that okay or is it not? And I was unsure, and there was a slight values conflict. And what to do during that time is to think about the two opposing things and think, are they opposing? Because what's the motivation for each thing? And asking yourself, you know, what would I say? What does this part want and what does this part want? And then working down from that, because often when you go down the two columns and you go, this part wants to do the videos and this part wants to make sure my children are protected, actually when you go down the line, you can actually find that there is a common ground somewhere along that. And mine would probably be that I want to create an amazing life for my children. I want to create an amazing life for both of us, and so those things can sit side by side. Yes, I have to have rules that I abide by that work for me and boundaries in place, but I can make those two seemingly opposing things sit together. So it could also be that you feel lack of motivation because you feel lack of challenge. You don't feel particularly challenged by the things that you're doing or particularly interested in it. So right now in lockdown, a lot of people are feeling just not motivated to do anything because they don't feel particularly challenged. They may not be working, they may have no structure or schedule to their day, so it just feels a bit like blah. Like I just don't know why I should even bother tidying up because no one's going to come around, no one's going to see it. So there's lack of like reason for it. It could be burnout. Burnout could be a thing, right? You could be absolutely running yourself ragged all over the place, in which case you're feeling burnt out, which is meaning that you just don't feel motivated to do anything more or just anything. Maybe it's perfectionism that's stopping you from getting there. Trying to perfect everything is a surefire way of stopping you from doing anything. But I would say perfectionism sits a little bit in fear, I would say so. And it could be things like grief. Grief is something, and those kind of feelings of depression or grief, or the darker side of our human emotions, the harder side, can stop us from feeling particularly motivated. In which case, if you tune in and that is what's going on, then you need to take steps to work on that side of things and seek help if you need to, and reach out to people if you need to, and then you can start to work on that. But when you tune in with yourself and you think about all of the areas where you feel like you just don't feel motivated to do anything, where's that coming from? Because it's coming from somewhere. There might be a mix of a few things going on there, but have a little think about what it is. When I talked about this morning in my Facebook group, we talked about it, and one of the ladies was like, oh my god, light bulb moment. Light bulb moment. It's fear. I'm scared. I'm scared to push myself out my comfort zone. That's why I don't do the thing. And it was just interesting. So if you've had a light bulb moment while listening to this, pop in the comments below and let me know what your light bulb moment is. So let's think about how we get over this feeling of lack of motivation. First of all, listen to your self-talk, right? What is it that you're saying to yourself when you feel that lack of motivation? So let's say the conscious brain, the good as gold part of your brain is going, Holly, you need to do the ironing. And my subconscious is like, yeah, but I just would rather sit in bed. I don't really want to do it. Do I need to do it? And I can hear the self-talk going on and on in my brain about why I don't really need to do it. Tuning in with that gives you some answers. Let's say when you tune in, your motivation is lacking in handing in that piece of work or putting your work out onto the internet. For example, I work on the online, so let's say it's that you don't feel motivated to put it out there, and when you tune in, it's because you're thinking nobody's going to think my work's any good, and the self-talk is the work's rubbish. It's other people's work is much better than yours, and yours is rubbish. And listening to that voice and thinking, oh, that's why I don't feel particularly motivated, because the voice inside my head is giving me grief. Tuning in with that and then working on those, working from there, because when you listen to that self-talk, it gives you clues. It lets you know what's actually going on, because we could very easily just blanketly go, it's just lack of motivation, just don't feel motivated. But there's a reason why you don't feel motivated to do something. Another good hack is to give yourself almost a little reward punishment type thing. But this is actually good because it creates good habits. So this is something that we would say that I can't condition, right? So giving yourself a condition, I can't do something until I've done something else, right? I can't go on my phone till I've got up and got dressed and made my bed. That could be an I can't condition. I can't sloth in front of the telly watching Netflix in my pants until I have put the dishes away. I can't condition. And by doing this, you actually can create habits for yourself. If you decide this is my rule, this is my life rule, this is what I'm going to live by, I can't do this thing until this has happened, then actually by sticking to that one rule, you can find that you actually start to create really good habits for yourself, because it becomes the thing that you do before you do the thing. It just becomes something that you're used to doing. I don't go downstairs till I've made my bed. I can't go downstairs and have breakfast and have my cup. Okay, so I definitely just had my camera cut itself off. That's annoying, but it is what it is. Okay, so where were we up to? I can't even remember where we were up to. Okay, setting goals and setting timers was where we were up to. The next thing to do is to visualize your future self, how it will feel when you've done that thing. So let's say, for example, mine the other day was that I didn't really want to clean the car. Like, it's horrific. It was horrific. And so I just didn't want to do that. And I visualized my future self. What is it going to feel like when I clean the car? It's going to feel amazing. The car definitely is where the coronavirus started, without a doubt. It must have been. It was rancid. It was rank. Okay, I'm not that clean person. Anyway, it's tidy, it's beautiful, it smells amazing, it's perfect, right? But I had to visualize my future self first to be able to get to that point. The next thing to do is to organize an area in your home. So declutter something, get rid of some stuff, right? You feel lack of motivation when things are around you. And to be honest, right now in my office, it needs a bit of a declutter again. And I do this regularly because it helps me to feel motivated after that. So just having a bit of a declutter in your home. One of my favorite tools ever is the Mel Robbins 5-second rule. I talk about this a lot, but Mel Robbins has a book called the 5-second rule. And in that, essentially it is that when you have a desire to take action to do something, if you don't do something in the first 5 seconds, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, your brain will talk you out of doing it. Okay, so as soon as you get that desire to get up in the morning, the alarm goes off and you feel like, oh, I don't want to do that thing. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you get up and you do something. You move, you do something. So you can use that throughout your day to help you to be motivated. I think about this constantly. I do it all the time. And it works. It's so simple. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, move, do the thing. Give yourself some time to do the things that you do like doing, but just give yourself but allow yourself it. So if you want to play on your phone, don't say, well, I can never do that, it's not going to happen. Do it, but give yourself a time limit that you can do it, so that the thing that isn't making you feel particularly productive doesn't last forever. Another thing to think about, and I think it's Marie Forleo that I heard say this, is replacing I can't with I won't. It's a big mindset shift. I can't do something is different to I won't. I won't, so I can't clean the car today. I can't. Or I won't clean the car, right? It's owning the fact that you've chosen not to do something, and it feels very different. So see how that feels. Another thing to do is to find motivation online. YouTube is a great space for finding motivation. I'm surprised how many people just absolutely devour the clean with me type videos. I've got one of those clean with me and it had so many views, and I was like, why do people want to clean with me? Like, but it's that satisfying feeling, isn't it, of like watching somebody turn their house around. It does something wonderful. I know that Emily Norris, who is a fellow mum type vlogger, she does some amazing clean with me videos. I'll link Emily below even. And she's got blooming millions of subscribers, so you might already know who Emily is, but she's great, and she does loads of those types of videos, and she's a friend of mine, and her videos are super motivating. And if I watch those clean with me videos, if I see them come up, I'll have a little watch of them and I'm like, oh my god, I need to have a clean house. So finding some motivation by looking online is really useful as well. I'm just putting my lip balm on here while we're chatting. Another thing to do is to just putting this on, I mean, this doesn't have to be in the video, but it is. Self-coach yourself. In my accent, it's self-coach in my Geordie accent, or you might say self-coach. Self-coach. So that means just talk yourself through the day. So but do it in a really small way. So I'll say, Holly, get up and make your bed. Holly, go and brush your teeth. Holly, get in your office and tidy it up. Holly, make yourself a cup of tea, whatever, tiny things, but talk yourself through it, because when you say it out loud, it does motivate you. Also, when I'm feeling particularly negative, I will tell myself to stop. Just pack it in, will you? Sort yourself out. Enough. I'll say enough a lot. Enough of that now. But saying it out loud actually helps you to work out. You hear what you're saying to yourself. And I know that might seem like it might be a little bit mental, but it's definitely very, very useful. And cut out the perfectionism. We've talked about this very briefly, but the perfectionism is going to stop you in your tracks. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's going to get things right 100% of the time. Sometimes there's no right or wrong. It's just stuff, okay? And finding your best time to do something is really important as well. Some people are really super motivated in the morning. Some people, I'm a night owl. Like, I like doing things at night. So although because I have children, I'm forced into being in the morning as well, I actually naturally feel better doing things at night, more creative at night. But you might be the opposite. But noticing when those things are and scheduling work time, productive work time in those pockets of time is really, really helpful for you. Just acknowledging who you are. You don't have to do things in the same order as somebody else. It doesn't have to be done in the way. If somebody said to me, get up and do a 6 a.m. run, no thanks. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I'm not going to do that. But I would do a run in the evening time, no problem whatsoever. It's knowing who you are and what motivates you. Remember though, motivation ebbs and flows. It doesn't stay the same. And nobody really ever feels motivated to do the things they don't particularly want to do or that take time and effort. I am never going to feel motivated to do the ironing. I'm just not. But what I can do is think about, and this is what I do. So yesterday I did the ironing. You guys know I talk about this a lot on this channel because I hate ironing. But once it's done, that's the feeling I chase. I don't feel I don't chase the feeling of doing the ironing. I chase the feeling of going, the feeling when all those clothes are put away without those creases. What a day to be alive. That feels good. I feel nice about that. So visualizing my future self really helps me to feel motivated to do that, because I know I'm going to feel better when things are decluttered and there isn't washing everywhere. So have a little think, have a little play. Let me know what you think in the comments. Remember to be kind to yourself always, because we are humans and we're flawed and we're okay even with our perceived flaws. We're perfectly imperfect all the same. Let me know what you think. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, subscribe. You've been here before. Come and hang out with me proper, and it'll motivate me to make more videos that help you guys to live your best life, whatever that is. I hope that you're doing well. If you're watching this in real time while you're in lockdown, while this pandemic is going on, then I'm just sending you loads and loads of love. I'm looking over there because I can see my neighbours are getting ready. It's actually VE Day here. Can't say that very well. VE Day. And so people are doing things outside. It's all very exciting and very British. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'll speak to you all very soon, and peace out.
Take me out to California. Take me out to California. I feel the day.